This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, December 30th. We're almost to the end of 2020, you guys. We can do it. I'm Sam here with Erica and Jeff. Miss Tori has the day off. Let's get started because it's been the story of the year, and still the coronavirus is raging across America. Yesterday was the deadliest day since the pandemic began, with more than 3,700 deaths. And for the first time, the new, more contagious strain of COVID-19 has been confirmed in the U.S. It was found in a man in his 20s, right here in Colorado, in our backyard, just an hour and a half south of where we shoot our show. The man had no history of travel and is in isolation. A second man, also in Colorado, is also thought to have the new strain. We'd also like to give our best to friend of the show, Dr. Drew Pinsky. I talked to him last night. He revealed he's tested positive for COVID-19 in this Instagram post. He also posted a video thanking everyone for their support and saying he had made it through the most difficult phase of the illness. He's doing good. He said, just to keep it quick with Dr. Drew, and we can get back to the new, more contagious variant. Yeah, Dr. Drew said he's doing well. It was definitely a tough run in the beginning, and he thinks he's on the mend. And he also mentioned the hardest part for him, and this is so Dr. Drew because he's a mover and a shaker, is just not being able to do anything. You know, he's bedridden and he can't even go out, and even if he felt good, you can't go out because you want to not spread the virus. So he's just eager to get up and move and groove and do his Dr. Drew stuff, as I always tell him. What do you guys make of this new contagious variant? In fact, our own governor, since it's right here in our backyard, our own governor, Governor Polis, just gave a news conference educating Colorado constituents that they don't know too much about it.
Right.
And I think we need to be transparent about that. They don't know too much about it, but from what we learned in the UK, it is much more contagious, but not as severe, or you will not have more severe symptoms.
Well, I don't think we need to come out right away and start putting labels on this. The most contagious form yet. 2 people have it here. How could you label it the most contagious form? Because when the government says something, they don't take it back, right? When someone says something, they don't take it. We're going to defund the police. That's not what that means, defund the police. We're not going to change the name. That's just not what it means. So you can't take back what you said about this virus, right? It's the most contagious ever. They're going to leave that label on there, and only 2 people have it yet. So I don't like people jumping to conclusions. I'm a little nervous about it, right? Because giving that label, and we're almost getting to the arc of this first wave. What happens now with the second wave? This is totally different. Do we have a new vaccine? I have a million questions, but I want to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about, like our very own Dr. Coley.
Well, yeah, I do agree that we need to be very careful about how we speak about this new strain, because we learned our lesson from the beginning of when COVID-19 was originally discussed. There was so much speculation, a lot of very open pontification, and a lot of the information was incorrect. And so I don't want to alarm people until we know exactly what we're dealing with.
But I do think that we do have some, and I hear you, Jeff. You know, Dr. Drew will be the first person to chime in and say in the very beginning when he made statements, and this is not something that I'm stating for him, he's gone on record saying in the very beginning, you know, he likened it to the flu. He immediately apologized for that, saying that he did not know enough information. And since then, he is, you know, like Dr. Fauci and everybody else, he has, you know, changed his narrative. So I think it's important to do that. But we do know, according to the UK, we do know that because their lockdown restrictions were the same, and then they all of a sudden saw this huge uptick, and then when they started testing and looking at this mutated strain of the virus, and I'm not a doctor, I did research, they did see that the reason why there was an uptick because the contagion was that much more contagious.
Right.
So there is some evidence to back it. I think it's important to note that.
There's always some evidence to back anything that you ever want to say, right? And I understand what you're saying. You did do your research, but it's also like, this is the most deadliest day for the virus ever. Well, did all those people die strictly from COVID symptoms and that's it? Or were they older age? Did they have pre-existing conditions combined with those? Where is the flu this year? It's one of our most deadly things in America. We haven't even heard of one case of the flu, people dying. So I'm very...
Well, the flu's down for a reason because of the fact that we're wearing masks, we're social distancing, we're washing our hands. It's 97% down. Flu hospitalizations are 97% down because of of social distancing, wearing masks, and washing your hands. So that's
I'm just very weird. Listen, I'm not saying I'm totally behind, like, I don't go out, I wear a mask, I do all that. I don't trust our government, Sam. I don't. And when they come out with something and they say this is the most deadliest day yet, this is the era we live in. We always have to have the most of something, right? If you're on Survivor, it's been on 30 years. This is the first time it's ever been on Survivor.
But
that's the media that we live in today.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You cannot trust the government, but you can trust science. Because when we always talk about separation of church and state, we really need to talk about separation of science and state.
Well
because our government are not scientists. Our government is not medical professionals. That's the reason why we have the Faucis coming forward to speak on behalf of the people. If anyone's speaking on behalf of the people and actual data and what's happening in our country right now, it should be the scientists. It should be the doctors. So when people are talking about, is it all COVID? Well, if you say, is it COVID, is that the official cause of death? There are people who have to do emergency dialysis as a result of COVID. So are you going to say that they went into kidney failure or organ failure? Being septic and sepsis is a part of a direct correlation to COVID. So are you going to say that they died because they were septic and went into organ failure? You're going to say it's because of COVID.
They count that as a COVID death,
right,
not as the other thing.
It is because of COVID.
But if you die with COVID, that's a specific case, and there's many specific cases. But if you die with COVID in your body, it's a COVID death, no matter what happened to you.
Right.
But if you would have died of those causes without COVID, you would have died of organ failure.
But you wouldn't have had those causes if it weren't for COVID.
That's not necessarily true, and that's what I don't trust.
I'm telling you right now that is true.
Maybe in your organ case, but not in every case.
I'm telling you that I think it would be irresponsible to say that if you went into organ failure and you had no pre-existing conditions of organ failure,
you're talking about a specific case. I'm talking about the numbers in general. You're talking about a very specific case.
I'm not speaking of a specific case. I'm speaking of what the symptoms can be that are going to contribute to death, but you wouldn't have those symptoms if you didn't have COVID. So
I totally get what you're saying, but the numbers are skewed, and I promise you, later on, they'll come out with numbers that are more realistic, saying these people already had conditions. They would have died of this anyway. Now they caught COVID and died, which they would have died of anyway, and we're counting that as a COVID death.
Okay, but if you're going point to point, like this death was specifically caused for COVID, how many of the deaths, especially in the beginning, were never even counted as COVID cases? Because so many of us didn't understand what exactly was happening anyway, and you had literally wells in hospitals of people who were just being checked off. We don't know what their cause of death were, but a lot of them weren't even considered COVID cases in the beginning. So I don't think that we should go person by person. I think it's more about the overall prevailing numbers.
And I totally agree with you. And I don't want to take away from the fact that I totally believe in COVID and what you're saying. I just want to say I'm a little skeptical about what the government tells us, and this new thing about this strain scaring everybody, saying it's the most contagious ever, worries me.
Yeah.
Brought it full circle.
There you go. I mean, great conversation. This is literally, I have viewers writing in saying that this is the same thing. One viewer wrote in GL saying that this is the same conversation that they had with their mother last night. So there you have it. That's our goal here on DBL, and perhaps Dr. Coley can give us some clarification. So Gallup is out with a new poll revealing the most admired people of 2020. And this year, for the first time, President Donald Trump is the most admired man, and former First Lady Michelle Obama is the most admired women. The runners-up include former President Barack Obama and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Okay, so this to me summarizes our country, right? Because you're either going to love or hate Donald Trump. You're either going to love or hate Michelle Obama. There's no in between anymore. We are so polarized. So to have two completely opposite individuals as the most admired, that's America.
Well, yeah. I went with a very so my choice was based on who I admire and why, and my brand is comeback, and I always want to get a good comeback story. So I chose LeBron James and Portia Williams. Portia Williams from Real Housewives of Atlanta. These are two people, very different sides of the spectrum, who have really used their platforms to meet the moment. LeBron James, in the wake of Jacob Blake's shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, held up the whole NBA league, which in turn put millions of dollars in jeopardy to state his case and make sure that this cause was known. Portia Williams didn't even know what the Underground Railroad was 10 years ago. And now she is at the forefront with Tamika Mallory fighting for justice for Breonna Taylor. I think those two comeback stories were amazing, and I admire them both.
Love it. And quickly, do you have somebody that you thought should be the most admired man, woman?
Listen, this is going to sound cheesy, but my parents.
Yes.
I haven't been without them. I have been without them this whole year, right? I've got a new house. I realize what it's like and what they went through, having kids, you know, running the house on my own, cooking for Christmas, doing all that stuff. So the little things that my parents did growing up that I didn't appreciate, I really appreciated this year. And if you think looking up to a politician is your #1 fan this year, you're insane. Going back to my other point.
Well, I picked, no, I'm kidding. I picked the healthcare workers because, you know, my sister's a nurse. My brother-in-law is a nurse. They're both on the front lines. They both have dealt with hell. There they are when it comes to COVID. And they are my heroes along with every other frontline healthcare worker out there. I love you guys. Coming up on DBL, a woman who dedicated her life to finding others disappears. The unsolved mystery later in True Crime Chronicles, and New Year's Eve is going to look a whole lot different this year. We're going to show you what's being planned next.
This is
Welcome back to DBL. That was J-Lo giving us a sneak peek at her rehearsals for her upcoming performance at Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. So speaking of which, this New Year's is going to look very different, thank you COVID, with a virtual ball drop in Times Square. There will be some folks in attendance though, frontline healthcare workers, but they will be spaced out rather than packed in like we're used to. Meantime, fireworks shows like these have been canceled in cities all across the globe, from Vegas to Paris, even in Sydney. Wow. Yeah, I actually am going to predict that there's going to be some surprise fireworks show. They need to cancel them so no one shows up, but I think there'll be some surprise fireworks show. What are you guys planning for New Year's Eve?
We are going to have a little fire on the patio.
Cute.
And much if 4th of July was any indication, fireworks are not canceled. Not because they're sanctioned, but I saw more fireworks this 4th of July and there was no official fireworks show because everybody had their own individual fireworks show.
People still want to celebrate. They
Yes.
definitely
What are
wanna
you going to
celebrate.
do? I mean, we talked about this earlier, but tell the viewers.
Listen, shame on our producers for not mentioning Justin Bieber's show, right? He's got a show, I don't know where it's a live show, I believe. He's got a 2-hour concert. I'm tuning into that. It's $25. It's going to be from like 8 to 10 prime hours. I'm going to grill, have a good time, put that on. I miss concerts so much, and I want to go out and put it loud and pretend like I'm actually at a concert.
You know what? I'm not as big as a Justin Bieber fan as you, but since you stated that, because I like to have like an appointment. I like to have a plan. I'm very type A, and I have no plan. So, of course, we're going to be at home because of COVID. But now that you have given me some sort of a plan, I think I, too, am going to purchase. I, too, am going to purchase for Justin Bieber. And then I want to decorate. I want to have streamers and those little horns and the hat and a nice dinner. And I want Sophie to put on a sequins dress. I want to put on a sequins dress.
Yeah.
Even though it's just home, you got to turn up and turn out.
And T-Mobile customers, it's free, that Bieber concert. So no reason not to tune in.
All right, cool.
I really
I'm not
I really
T-Mobile.
pushed that like I was
Okay, so coming up on DBL, a mystery unfolds when a mom who dedicated her life to find the missing vanishes herself. That's coming up next in True Crime Chronicles.
People are wearing masks.
Welcome back to DBL. A mom who helped search for others mysteriously disappears. A year later, where could she be? Here's a look at the case in DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
Andrea Knabel was 37 years old. She was a mother of 2, daughter and sister, living in Louisville, Kentucky. She was also a member of Missing in America, an online group who helped search for people whose cases went cold.
She was pretty bright, really eager, wanting to learn, to tune her investigative abilities. She was kind of a keyboard sleuth.
Could her involvement in that group have led to her disappearance?
You fail every day when you don't find her.
Let's go back to where it all began. It was summer 2019. Andrea was struggling to get her life on track.
She was evicted from her home, so I feel like she was probably overwhelmed and depressed with her situation, just as anybody would be with all that happening.
Andrea lost her home and her job. On August 12th, she went to her sister Erin's house to vent.
I told her maybe you should just go home and rest it off, and everything will be fine in the morning.
Little did Erin know that was the last time she would see her sister. Days later, she files a missing persons report, and investigators quickly began tracking Andrea's last moves from her cell phone.
She was taken to a McDonald's with the sister's boyfriend and her nephew.
There was nothing out of the ordinary. Phone records show she went back to her mother's house around 6:30 in the morning, where she made some calls and then went silent.
Her phone either went dead or it was turned off, and she disappeared.
Her family desperately looked for her.
Knocking on doors at midnight with a flyer and a flashlight. We've been through every ditch, under every bridge.
There's been little evidence and no sightings. Andrea disappeared without a trace. Why?
I think somebody in her circle, if the worst happened, I think that's where it happened. Somebody connected with the wrong industry, the wrong hobbies, maybe involved in things that are illegal.
There's no sign of foul play, so Andrea's family is hopeful she's still out there. It's a bizarre search for a woman who spent her life searching for so many others.
I am not going to quit. I'm going to find out what happened to our friend.
And earlier, Jeff and Tori spoke with a reporter who has worked endlessly on this case. Take a look.
We're joined by investigative journalist Shay McAllister from WHAS 11 in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you, Shay, for being here. This story is a terrible twist of fate. Andrea, a mother who actually helped search for missing people, ended up becoming the focus of a search herself. Do you believe, Shay, her involvement in that may have led to her disappearance? And what was her role in that group?
So Andrea was a volunteer with the group Missing in America. She participated in searches on the ground. She worked a lot on social media, and she really tried to help private investigators with whatever leads they were following.
So Shay, there was no signs of foul play. Is there any chance Andrea ran away? And what does her family believe at this point?
Her family is pretty split on what exactly happened to Andrea. I think part of the family wants to think that she is still alive because there is no sign of foul play. There's no proof that she's dead. The reality is there's been no sign of life for more than a year. So I think that they're real about that. And at this point, they just want to know what happened.
I get that when the family doesn't want to believe, but we all kind of know. There's still a chance, but yeah, I do. There's always hope. It's been a little over a year now. What new leads are police pursuing? Are there any that you can tell us about?
Sure. So in this case, the most common lead comes in the form of sightings. Over the last 16 months, there have been more than 200 sightings. The private investigator tells us he's going out all the time, and so is Andrea's family. When they get a call about someone who looks like Andrea or someone who's in a car that resembled something that she might be in, they always go and check it out. It happens all the time. At this point, there's been no confirmed sightings.
Wow. And just really quick, how involved is the family? Sometimes you see families that are really involved, bugging the police, getting after it. Is that what Andrea's family is like? Have you seen them try and publicize this story?
Absolutely. They keep this story on the forefront of everyone's minds here in Louisville, Kentucky, and even beyond Kentucky. There's a huge social media presence in the search for her. They've had sightings all over the country. They are very dedicated to finding answers.
And being a parent myself, if there was a 0.0001 chance that we could still find one of my sons, I mean, you never give up hope as a parent, and it's only been a year, so, you know, I don't blame the parents at all for keeping this investigation going.
Not at all. And Shay, thank you for keeping it publicized as well. Social media is great in that way. To learn more about this story, just visit WHAS11.com. You can also listen to a new podcast episode about this case. Just search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Again, Shay, thank you for keeping this in the news. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
We just got a comment in from Kathy on Facebook to Jeff. She says, it makes me so angry when people say, oh, they really did not die of COVID. They had pre-existing conditions. They had COVID, so COVID did kill them. Jeff, you have like 15 seconds.
Listen, don't get angry about it. Have a conversation like me and Erica did. I totally agree with what she's saying. I agree with what you're saying, but you have to see there's another side to this. Don't always trust the government.
And have conversations. That's what the show's about.